Australia, Peter, high, and a fourth straight day of decline when it comes to the crude oil prices. So clearly, while we did hope that we might perhaps see $100 a barrel, that clearly hasn't been the case. Back at around 93, 94. What's the sense that you get?
Well, I think that's right, Manisha. I mean, it was very, very strongly bid up from Monday, and I thought we're off to the races, and it was nearly up $10 for Brent and for WTI, and it's certainly given up a bit of those gains. There's no doubting that, and probably a bit of profit taking. So we're just waiting to see, I think, what that number drops over the next 24 hours as far as US inflation and the general themes this week with, uncertainty with equity markets, and that's where a lot of the smart money is plowed into US dollars. So that's also had an uptick. So I think crude will come back. Just wait a little while. I think we're all being a bit impatient.
Come back, hasn't come back below $90 a barrel?
Oh, yeah, it'll be back above that, Manisha. I think look, a couple of things. I heard Larry Summers, or Professor Larry Summers, come out the other day, and what he said as far as cancelling Keystone Pipeline, being made a mistake with that, made a mistake being hostile as a country for natural gas, and also for all sorts of permit activity. So they've declared that. So that's where it's coming. And I think there's a lot of uncertainty with the Biden administration. And I think oil will go up from here.
Okay. And yes, there is that midterm elections from 8th of November as well. So that's less than a month away. What are you expecting in US then?
Well, I think we're leading into that, Manisha. If we don't see any, we've got a lot of big geopolitical storms on our horizon. We still haven't put to bed anywhere near that Ukraine-Russia situation. What's going on with with North Korea and missiles, and the uncertainty leading into Taiwan and China. There's only three. So, we've got to work through some of that in the next couple of weeks. And then naturally 4 weeks out, I think that by the looks of it, it's going to be a whitewash. He'll get a shellacking, Biden, but, that comes down to people going and voting. So it's interesting to sit here in Australia and observe all of these moving parts.
And then you have, US inflation data today, and tomorrow you have China inflation data, and then there is China trade data on Friday. October 27th is the ECB monetary policy. Come November, we have midterm elections. We also have the US Fed policy coming in. So there's just so much happening in the next few days and sessions there. What is the range that you'll put to crude oil prices in the light of, or a background of all of this?
Well, if it's underwhelming as far as that inflation story, and if it's worse than what the market anticipates, then that, I think, is going to send shivers up naturally to the central bankers. And then the next part, of course, would be I think equities will come off. Also, the other side of it, of course, is what happens as far as US dollar. Crude, I think, will take a little bit of a jump. So, yeah, we haven't put to bed the OPEC Plus has cut of 2 million barrels, and all of that's got to work through the market. So it's fun and games over the next couple of weeks, Manisha. Hold the wheel steady, because I think there's plenty of dollars to be made.
Okay. But how is the range looking to you? Do you think we're going back to 97, 90 at any time soon?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. You're still at 94.50 for Brent, so you aren't far away. You were nearly there yesterday, so I think it's given up a bit of that, and I think it'll just have a little bit of a breather, and that's what trading's about. It has those wild swings, pick up a couple of bucks here and there. I think it'll trend higher from here, Manisha.
And what's your sense on the gas prices, really? Because we've seen natural gas prices in US come off. The European gas prices still hold on the firmer note. We do understand that Europe has been able to make a good storage, 87% of their capacity. How are you looking at those, and how does the winter look like for Europe now?
Well, the winter looks bleak because winter, naturally, it's incredibly cold there. So we've just got to make sure that everyone gets heating to their homes. It's the first part. Second part is that, yes, you're right, as far as NYMEX, nat gas back at 660. So it's really had a big washout, that nat gas futures. And then the other side, what's happening as far as European gas prices? Well, we all understand the conditions that they've got to play with. You hear stories as far as coal-fired power plants, nuclear, and you name it, whatever else, to try and maintain some form of power supply all over Europe this winter. So we're a month from it getting very cold, and I think that'll tell a different story, Manisha.
Okay, all right, Peter, as well as Manisha. Thanks very much for joining in and giving us all of those details. Well, it's